Hiking in hot weather. Can you do it when it's really hot? Of course you can, with a few extra precautions. Do I hike much in the hot weather nowadays? No, I don't. I think I'm a little bit more sensible. I'm going to tell you a few things that have happened to me in hot weather. The first thing, one of the first things you're going to do is know the trail intimately. Everything about it. Are there any shade areas on the trail? The topography of the trail. You know, those little squiggly lines on the map where you think, oh, this is a really nice hike I'm going to go on, and then you find you're going up the side of a bloody mountain because you haven't taken note of that. And then in the heat, obviously, that can be a real problem for you. One of the things that you want to get in place before you do hike in extreme hot conditions is your mental health. That has to be spot on. It goes without saying that in the cold weather you're going to warm up, but in the hot weather you're not going to cool down. So if it's hot and you're hiking, you can hope to stay the same, but you're probably going to get progressively hotter, so that your mental health really does need to be in position. You don't want to get frustrated with the heat, and that can cause, you know, uncomfortable problems for you. So your mental health in the heat needs to be in the right place. The next one, pre-hydrate before you even start on your hike. That means you're probably drinking, it could be different for each person, but say around 1 litre of water before you go. You should be basically pissing pretty clear and not too yellow, and then you know you're not dehydrated. There are better forms of that. You can get tabs to put in to, it's more accurate, but that's a good guide. So you definitely don't want to be dehydrated before you go. You're not going to be been on the piss the night before, drinking coffee, or just taking off on a hike in hot weather. So that's not a good idea. Fires when you're out on the trail. They're a bloody dangerous situation to be caught in. You're unlucky to be caught in a fire. There's normally some warning ahead of you. There could even be a diversion in place. Now if you're on a multi-day hike and you know you've got to get to the other side of that fire, or it may not even be a fire, it may be a trail diversion for some other reason, and all those plans of where your water points are and where those stretches of shade are go straight out the window. You're taking a different hike, in fact. So you have to be aware of that. It's happened to me before. There was a small fire up ahead, the trail was closed, and there was a sign there, diversion, but no one's going to go around the tracks and put diversion signs in at every turning for the next 5 miles to get around there. You're going to have to work that one out yourself. So be aware of that. Fires and other diversions when you have planned your hike in very hot weather. Start early. As the sun gets up, you get up and you're on your way. Alternatively, you can hike later in the day. And if you're really confident on this trail you're on, you can't even hike at night. That's another way of combating the heat of the day. Take plenty of breaks when it's hot. Hopefully you've researched the trail and it's not completely open countryside all day. Hopefully you've done your research and you have got some shady areas. You might be on the edge of a forest or wherever, so you can take some shelter in the shade. And whenever you see shade, if there's not much of it, use it. Stop, have yourself a drink and relax. There's not much shade on this trail today, but right here there's a great spot just over the overhanging branches of this bush here. So how much water should you be drinking? You hear all these stories. If you've got a dry mouth, dry throat, you're already dehydrated. To me, that's a load of bollocks. You can have a dry mouth and dry throat constantly. You can take a drink of water, then 30 seconds later your throat is dry again. So I don't think that's a gauge to go on. You're probably going to sip water every 10 minutes or so. You're probably going to go through, I don't know, everyone's different. Maybe a litre of water per hour if it's really hot, but you'd have to judge that for yourself. It's hardly worth mentioning the obvious one. Keep yourself covered up. Obviously I've got a long sleeve shirt on today, hat, sunglasses, got plenty of sun shade on. I've got my bandana which I can put up over my nose if it gets too hot. That's rather obvious. We all should be pretty aware that that's what we do. But one that may be not so obvious is don't drink too much water. That can have a detrimental effect on you as well. You need to eat, you need to keep your calories up, even in hot weather. But if you drink too much, especially, you know, I've done it myself. You get really hot and you scull down a litre of water. That keeps the hunger away. Then you go on for more hours, you drink more and you don't eat. You can even get to the end of the day, on a hot day, get into your tent and just want to sleep and you don't eat. But that's not doing your body any good either, so be aware of that. And the other thing with water is electrolytes are the most important thing. You should be putting a good quality electrolyte in your water, preferably without sugar, and that is what you're really replacing. You're replacing the electrolyte. So if you're just drinking water, yes, it's helping, we all need water, but when you're hiking and expelling lots of energy, you need to replace the electrolytes in your body as well. So that's just a few tips that come to mind in hot weather. One thing is, which we're all not inclined to do, because you want to get to the end of the hike, a day hike or a multi-day hike. If there's any doubts, you're not feeling 100%, or as I say, there's some smoke in the distance, or anything else that you're not comfortable with, then bloody turn back and go home. It's not a failure. It can end up even worse in very hot conditions. Okay, Hike and Seeker signing out. Give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. Take care, and I hope to see you on another video soon.